Have you ever wondered which sweater pattern is right for your skill level? Or what it actually takes to knit one of those jaw-dropping, intricate designs you see online? In this video, I am ranking 10 sweater knitting patterns from absolute beginner to full-on pro, based on construction, technique, and overall complexity. Whether you are just starting out or are ready for a challenge, I think there is going to be something for you in this video. If we haven't met before, hi, my name is Annika and I'm coming to you from Germany. I am a natural yarn dyer as well as an avid knitter, and I love basically everything that is related to the fiber arts. In this video, I am going to show you 10 different sweater knitting patterns, and I will explain why I ranked them the way that I did, why some of those are easier, some of them are harder, and some are somewhere in the middle. Let's get started right away with level 1. Level 1, basic raglan sweater. For level 1, I have chosen the step-by-step sweater by Florence Miller because I personally think this is a perfect sweater if you have never knitted a sweater before. It is knitted from the top down and features a raglan construction. A raglan construction basically means that you are increasing at 4 different points on the yoke, 2 on the front and 2 on the back. This makes it very easy to keep track of the increases. It is also easier to knit a sweater from the top down compared to bottom up because you can try the sweater on as you go, and if it does not fit you the way you want it to, you can make changes while you are still knitting the sweater. The sweater is knitted in all over stockinette stitch and with an Aran weight yarn, so a rather thick yarn, which makes for quick progress and some satisfaction along the way. In addition, there is also a full video tutorial available completely for free here on YouTube, which means you are basically guided every step of the way. This pattern does include the option to do short rows when knitting the sweater, but this is optional. What are short rows? Short rows basically mean that you knit only part of the round before turning your work and knitting back the other way. This is done to slightly raise the back neckline to create a better fit. But if this still feels a bit overwhelming for you, you can definitely skip those and still create a beautiful sweater for yourself. Level 2, drop shoulder sweater. For level 2, I would like to show you the late checkout sweater by Veronika Lindberg, also known as Kudo Vakika. This is another top-down sweater, but this time it is a drop shoulder design. What is a drop shoulder? Drop shoulder basically means that the shoulder seam is not sitting directly on the shoulder, but it falls a bit off to the upper part of your upper arm, which makes for a relaxed look and a bit more of an oversized fit. This is again an all-over stockinette design with this oversized fit that is very forgiving. It's also knitted from the top down, like I mentioned, and also comes with a free video tutorial here on YouTube. But here is why this sweater is just a little bit more difficult to knit compared to the sweater we just had a look at in level 1. For one, it is knitted, or the sample is knitted with 3 different strands of yarn held together at a time, and this can be a bit fussy, but if this feels too complicated for you, you could easily swap that out and just use 1 strand of a DK weight yarn instead. In addition, it also requires a more complicated bind-off. The pattern calls for an Italian bind-off, which is a sewn bind-off, and one that I personally would not recommend for beginners. But again, if this seems too complicated for you, you can simply swap that out for an easier bind-off. And lastly, you start with the back piece for the upper back first, and you shape that by increases, which is also a bit trickier, and you will also have to pick up stitches at that part to create the 2 fronts. So overall, I would say a step up, but still completely doable, especially since this one also comes with a full video tutorial. Level 3, circular yoke sweater. For level 3, I would like to show you the DRK Everyday Sweater by Andrea Maury. Now this is also a top-down construction, but this time we have a circular yoke design. And contrary to the Raglan, where we will increase at 4 different points on the yoke, for the circular yoke design, the increases are distributed evenly across the yoke, which means you do have to pay a little bit more attention to place those increases right. This pattern is also an all-over stockinette pattern and knitted top down, but there is no video tutorial, so you will be relying on the pattern instructions only. In addition, the pattern also includes short rows to shape the neckline. And it also starts with a bit more of a complicated cast on. I think complicated is the right word. A bit more challenging cast on. She suggests either a tubular cast on or a German twisted cast on. But if you have never done either of those before, you can easily swap those out for a simple long tail cast on. Level 4, Colorwork Yoke Sweater. For level 4, I have chosen the Stropkur by Isolde Teak, and this is actually the very first sweater that I ever knitted, so I have it here to show you. It is far from perfect, but since I personally was very much a beginner knitter at the time when I made this sweater, I can definitely say it is a step up from the more basic constructions that I have shown you before, but it is definitely doable. This one is knitted from the bottom up, which means you cannot try it on as you go. Bottom up also means that you first knit the body until the underarms, then you knit each sleeve and join all of them in the round to knit the yoke of the sweater. There is waist shaping, short rows and a colorwork yoke. So you'll be knitting with 2 colors at once. The colorwork yoke section is rather short though, so I think even if you do not have any experience with knitting colorwork, this is completely doable. The yarn that Isolde used for her sample and also the one that I used is Lechtlopi from the Icelandic yarn company Steeks. And if you are a bit sensitive to wool in general, I would definitely not recommend this yarn to you because it is very rustic. But since it is so rustic, this also means that it is very grippy, which makes it extremely easy to knit colorwork with. Level 5, Lace and Mohair Sweater. We are slightly turning up the difficulty with a lace and mohair sweater, and the design I've picked out to show you is the Fortune Sweater by Petite Knit. This is another top-down construction with raglan increases, but the tricky part here is the yarn, because this sweater is knitted holding 2 strands of a silk mohair yarn together. And silk mohair usually comes in a very fine weight, so it's a lace weight yarn, and silk mohair is also very fluffy, so it can be a bit fussy to work with, and you definitely have to pay a bit more attention since each stitch basically consists of 2 loops due to the 2 yarns you're holding together. You really have to make sure to knit both of these loops and not only one. The pattern also features a repeating lace motif with yarn overs, so a new technique. But since this is a simplet eyelet clover pattern, I think it's completely doable, but still requires focus to place the lace motifs on the right spot. Level 6, Cable Sweater. Now we enter cable territory, and this design is called Lauder by Rebecca Clough. It is an all-over cable sweater that is knitted from the top down and has a drop shoulder construction. So you will be working 2 different types of cables and reading charts or written instructions. Cable is basically created by crossing over 2 or more stitches, and cabling can be done with or without a cable needle, like you can see here. But whichever way you choose, it definitely requires attention. Like many of Rebecca Clough's patterns, this also comes with several options. You can, within the one pattern, choose if you want to knit the sweater or a cardigan, a round neck or a V-neck. Level 7, Set in Sleeves and Seamed. This sweater is called Mimi and it is a design by Linda Marving. Now, this sweater is constructed very different from what we've seen before. It is knitted from the bottom up and in pieces. So this means that you knit the front, the back and both sleeves separately, and later on, once you're done, seam them together. It's another cable design, but the real challenge here is in the construction and the finishing. Seamed sweaters often give a more tailored fit, but they require more precision and patience. Level 8. Lace and cable sweater. For level 8 I have chosen the Champagne pullover by Sari Nordland, and this is on my personal to knit list for 2025 because I think it's just an amazingly beautiful design, but unfortunately I have not gotten around to casting it on yet. This is another top-down construction with drop shoulders, but the tricky part lies in the combination of cables and lace all throughout this sweater. You will have to know how to read charts if you want to knit that pattern, and it's really not something you can just zone out with. This pattern is one that demands your full attention, but the result is so worth it. I think it is, to me, a beautiful piece that just looks like wearable art, basically. Level 9, all over colorwork sweater. Now we're getting into really serious colorwork with this design called Antique Filigree by Rachel Ilsley. It is knitted from the top down with a circular yoke, but the yoke features a complex all-over stranded colorwork, and each round is different. You will need to manage your tension carefully, and ideally you should be comfortable knitting with 2 different yarns at a time, holding one hand in your left hand, so knitting it continental, and the contrasting yarn in your right hand, knitting it English style. I think this is completely doable, but definitely not a project that I would personally recommend to a beginner, and since every round is different, also something that you should only knit on when you really are able to pay attention to it. Level 10. Villa Marie by Jennifer Beal. So this is the final boss of sweater knitting. This design not only includes colorwork and lace, but it is also steeked. What is a steek? A steek or steeking basically means that you cut into your knitting. Yes, you cut it in order to create an opening. And since this design is knitted sideways, you are cutting into your knitting, your steeking, for both the neck and the hem. There is colorwork, lace, 3 color rounds, and a number of advanced finishing techniques involved. Corrugated ribbing, applied I-cord, and a picot folded neckline with fair isle facing. It is a beautiful showstopper for sure, but one that I would definitely only recommend to experienced knitters. So where do you fall on that scale? Are you just starting out, are somewhere in between, or ready and able to conquer a steeked masterpiece? Let me know in the comments, I would love to know. And please also let me know if you have knitted any of these 10 patterns before. Until next time, happy knitting, bye guys!